Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to be going over and showing you how to install the Etrailer trailer hitch receiver here on our 2014 Chevrolet Traverse. So this is what our trailer hitch is going to look like installed. As we can see here, it's actually going to be recessed behind the bumper, and actually when we have our knockout panel installed, it's going to be completely hidden. So therefore we're going to have a nice finished install look. So with our trailer hitch here, we're going to be able to use this for a number of different things. It's really a great versatile option for a Traverse. Number one, if we want to tow a trailer, we're going to have no problem doing that with this trailer hitch here. We're going to have the industry standard 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube opening along with a Class 3 rating. Now we're also going to be able to use this trailer hitch if we want to hit the trails, load up some bikes, or if we just need to free up some space inside the vehicle for a long trip, we could easily attach a cargo carrier. And because we have this larger 2-inch receiver tube opening, we're going to have plenty of options to choose from. So in regards to towing, we're going to have a 5,000 pound gross trailer weight rating, which is the amount we can pull outward on our fully loaded trailer. We're also going to have a 500 pound tongue weight rating, which is going to be the downward force on the receiver tube. Now keep in mind, if we want to increase these capacities, we can do this by using a weight distribution system, which we sell here through Etrailer. And if we do want to use one of these, our capacities will increase to 6,000 pounds and 600 pounds respectively. Keep in mind, these hitch capacities are tested separately of the vehicle, so you do need to look in the owner's manual, verify the vehicle's capacity, and go by the lower of the two ratings. So on the side of our receiver tube opening here, we're going to have the standard 5/8 inch diameter hitch pin hole that will accept a 5/8 inch diameter hitch pin. Keep in mind, the hitch pin is going to be sold separately. This is going to be what's used to secure our ball mount or our bike rack / cargo carrier. It installs easily like that. So we do sell these here through Etrailer, but keep in mind, most bike racks and cargo carriers are going to come with their own threaded hitch pin. But if you're using it for towing, such as that, using it with a ball mount, you would want to go ahead and pick one of these up. We also have locking options as well. So on the bottom of our receiver tube here, you're going to see our safety chain tabs. And these are nice because they'll accept both the smaller S-type hooks, which we see here, as well as the larger clevis style. So now we have a couple measurements that are going to help you when you're selecting your hitch mounted accessories. The first one we have here is the distance from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening. That's going to be 18¼ inches. Now that measurement there will be useful when we're selecting our ball mount. That way we can get the correct rise and drop to tow our trailer level. The other measurement we have is the distance from the center of the hitch pin hole to the outside edge of the bumper. That's going to be 5½ inches. So the hitch is going to be recessed a little bit, but that's how it's able to retain this hidden design. So you want to make sure when you're selecting your folding accessories, such as a bike rack or cargo carrier, that you have adequate space so when it's folded up, it doesn't contact the vehicle. So in regards to installation, it really doesn't get much simpler than this. Everything's bolt-on, and we really don't need to make any modifications to our vehicle here. So it's definitely something I recommend you guys do by yourselves at home. We should be able to do this with just a common socket set. So the first step of our installation, we're going to come to the bottom side of our bumper fascia here. We're going to notice this little knockout panel down below. We need to remove this. In order to do that, it's super simple. We're going to have these two little twisty tabs here on either side. Now you may have some dirt debris in there that makes them a little bit harder to turn them by hand. So in which case, we're just going to grab a set of pliers here. We should be able to turn them to release. Now we can go ahead and just set this panel aside. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be lowering exhaust here. In order to do that, we're going to be taking a safety strap. Basically what we want to do is we want to support the exhaust pipes here. That way when we break the hangers free, it doesn't fall down, cause any damage. Chances are you're probably going to be doing this on the ground, so you can just place a block of wood or maybe even a jack stand. It probably wouldn't even be able to fall down enough to cause any damage if you were on the ground, but just as an extra safety precaution, we'll just take a cam buckle strap here, hook it to 2 points on the vehicle. We're using the coil springs, and then pull it tight to provide some support. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a spray lubricant. We're going to locate 2 of our rubber isolators. We have one on this side, one on the other side of the muffler. We're just going to spray those down nice and good to make things a little bit easier to remove. So now we'll let the isolators soak for a little bit. Once we get them nice and loose and lubed up here, we're going to take an exhaust hanger removal tool, or if you have a pry bar, chances are you'll probably have a pry bar. Pretty easy to get these out. What we're going to do is just hook onto it like so, and close it to remove them, and we can just pull it the rest of the way out. We'll show you how to remove the other one with the pry tool, because again, chances are that's probably what you're going to be using at home. So we'll just wedge it between the muffler there, get behind the isolator, and then pull out. And there we go. So now we're going to come underneath our vehicle here to either side. We're going to be looking for 2 weld nuts in the frame here. They're going to be closest to this back bumper flange here. You can see them, point them out for you right here. What we need to do is we're going to go ahead and clean those out. That way we can ensure we don't have any issues when we're threading in our bolt. So we're just going to be taking some spray lubricant, spraying them down, and then a wire brush to clean them out. So once we clean our holes out, we want to take one of our bolts here. Just going to go ahead and start it by hand, making sure it threads in evenly. Now with an extra set of hands, we can go ahead and set our hitch up into position and secure it to the frame using the included hardware. Keep in mind, we're going to place one of our conical tooth washers on there on our bolts before we set it into position. So the next step of our installation here, it's going to vary a little bit depending on your particular vehicle here. If we take a look at the bumper beam, the 2 holes here that secure the top of the hitch to the bumper beam, you may or may not have some weld nuts inside those holes there. If you don't have these weld nuts, then you're going to have to use the fish wire technique, which we're going to show you here. However, if you do have the weld nuts, you would simply just use the included bolts and conical tooth washers that come in your kit. But since you don't have them, you'll have to fish wire it in using this square access hole on the side. However, this hole isn't quite big enough to fit your carriage bolt through. So what we're going to have to do is take a drill bit, or if you have a pry tool, you can sort of bend the metal out of the way. But we're just going to remove a little bit of material here in the center on either side to allow our carriage bolt to slip through. So now that we got our hole opened up, I'm just going to go ahead and test fit our carriage bolt. As you can see, it fits up in there now. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take our fish wire here. We're going to feed the coiled end through the hole in the frame, or the bumper beam rather. And then we're going to try to fish that out the square hole here. Just like that. Now we'll go ahead and slip our spacer block on and follow that up with our carriage bolt. Now we'll push the spacer block into the frame first. And then our carriage bolt. And now we'll pull it down through our hole here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to remove the fish wire here, and then I'm going to use one finger to hold down the bolt so we don't push it back up into the frame. And I'm going to use the other to thread on our flange nut here. So now we'll take a 19mm socket. We're just going to snug up all of our fasteners, starting with these 2 here. Now we can come back and torque down all of our fasteners to the factory specifications. Now we'll go ahead and just raise our exhaust back up into position. And then lastly, we'll just reinstall our cutout panel here. And now with our panel back on, that's going to complete our look and installation. of the Etrailer trailer hitch receiver here on our 2014 Chevrolet Traverse.